Want to turn your passion for movement or mindfulness into a thriving online business? In this episode, I sit down with Andy Zoltan, founder of doyou.com with over 1 million members, and Impact, a coaching program for movement and mindfulness creators, to break down exactly how creators can build profitable and sustainable online brands. In this episode, we cover why specialization is the key to success, how to monetize your expertise without needing millions of followers, the biggest mistakes creators make when they start out, how to build an engaged community that actually buys from you, and many, many more. Now listen, if you're a yoga teacher, wellness creator, or fitness coach, looking to grow your business online, then this episode is just for you. And with that, I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe to the podcast and I'll see you in the next episode. All right, let's get right into it. So, Andy, what's the biggest mistake you see yoga teachers make all the time when trying to build an online business?
I think one thing that very few people in general, when they start businesses or any type of project, what they don't think about is, what am I actually trying to do? What is my goal? And I mean, I've made that mistake a million times myself. And as simple as it sounds, oftentimes the teachers that we work with, they show up and they say, hey, help me grow my business or help me, become successful. And they don't really know what success looks like to them. And I don't even look at it only from a business standpoint, but especially with yoga teachers, teaching yoga and making it their main income and their main thing that they do in their life, it's a lifestyle thing, right? So the way that I think more people need to look at success is, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to spend my time on a daily basis? Every morning I want to be able to, I don't know what, I like to take walks. I like to take a 2-hour walk every morning and take an ice bath and stuff like that. And I can only do that because my business allows me to do that. But I re-engineer basically based on what I want my life to look like. And then that will tell me, okay, this is the kind of life I want. This will be the kind of income that I need. And this is the type of business that allows me to have this income. And in order to build this business, I will need maybe an online audience, or maybe I will need whatever it is, right? And so I think, most people, especially yoga teachers, they don't look at any of these things. They just have in mind, well, I'm struggling financially. And I started teaching yoga because I love yoga and it's a passion of mine. And now I'm just grinding every day. Help me, I'm stuck. So I think once you start to break it down this way, and it's not rocket science, right? It's just a different way of looking at it. Once you start to break it down this way, it becomes so much more easy to actually get there. And something that has happened to me, which I thought was quite crazy, was that I realized a lot of the things that I want to accomplish, that I want my life to be like, either they're already in place or they're only a small adjustment away. For example, being able to take a 2-hour walk was a matter of reorganizing my work days. It had nothing to do with growing my business or anything like that. And having the understanding then helps you make the right decisions. And if then one of the decisions is to build an online business, then that's awesome. And the reality is that teaching online is something that enables those who run an online business to have much more freedom to then spend that free time on the things that maybe are closer to their heart. I always get this objection, I delete comments every day from our ads, from my Instagram, of people just giving me mad hate for oh, online yoga, you guys are scammers, you guys are, yoga is not meant to be online, blah, 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 right? The reality is people want to practice online, so there is a market. Somebody is going to serve that market, right? And the people who do serve that market, even though most teachers don't like practicing online, I'm not a teacher, I don't like practicing online, but there are people who like it and love and have to, or is forced for some reason to teach online because maybe they don't have the funds or access or whatever to in-person teachers. But when you build an online business, you then have the freedom to spend the time that is left on the things that you love doing. For example, teaching in person, teaching retreats, teaching free classes, for God's sake, right? And it's all powered by your online business. So you're not teaching in-person classes then because you have to, because you have to grind and like run from studio to studio or whatever, or like scrape by trying to fill your classes. No, now you teach online because you love it, you know, because you want to do it. And if you can do it for free if you want to, right?
So what I'm hearing is people idealize, or the biggest mistake is people idealize having an online business instead of being clear about the goals on why they should even make the online business.
That's a really good question, man. I don't even know if idealize is the right word. I feel like people, yoga teachers and coaches and so on, they see others online having a big audience and maybe selling online courses or a membership site or app or whatever. And they associate that with success. And I think, wow, that person made it. When in reality, that's not really true. Because I know a lot of people, we work with, you know, people that have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers, wherever, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. And, you know, they are being idealized as like the ultimate goal. I want to be like them. I want to have 1 million followers, 500,000 followers or something. But I honestly wouldn't say that they are the happiest people. Some are. But it also comes with so much pressure and expectation and comparison, because if you have 100,000 followers, there's always somebody who has 1 million. If you have 1 million, there's always someone who has 10 million. And so I think it's the wrong rabbit hole and also the wrong like thing to compare yourself to. If you look at it from the perspective of what do I want my life to be? So, you know, instead of looking at influencers and in like very successful content creators, how to be like them, I think people need to look more at what do I want my goal to be like, and what do I want my life to be like, and what are the actions and the vehicles that help me get there. Honestly, I don't think, I personally don't like social media at all. I'm, you know, blessed to not have to manage my own Instagram account. I think Instagram is just, it really absorbs your brain and your life and your thinking and your habits and everything. And the more you become, the more your success and your fulfillment becomes tied to it, the more difficult you make your life and the less control you have over your happiness, because you rely on views and likes and comments and engagement, and every time you post you like hope you get this many views and likes and whatever, right? Yeah, so I think a realization that I've had working with a lot of teachers and working with creators and influencers is the ones that are the most successful as per my definition of it, meaning they leverage social media for the benefit of the dream life that they want to create. They're the ones that have a detachment between all the online creating and themselves. And then you can focus on the what's relevant. Okay, I need to generate revenue from it. How do I do this? What kind of content do I need to create? And then you get kind of like a professional relationship with online stuff. One person that does that super well is Charlie Follows. She's one of our members, one of our agency clients now, actually at Impact. And I also had her on my podcast, and she's really good at, she told me for her, it's a job. Content creation is a job. And that's how she looks at it. I've had like many conversations with her also about like her ambitions as a content creator and, you know, why she's doing stuff. And she's like, this is a job. I want this, you know, to enable me to retire at some point. And that's how I think people should actually look at it. Don't idealize, to circle back to your original question, don't idealize the creators and the audience that they create, but idealize the people that actually manage to live, you know, a life that is fulfilled. And for that, to be honest, you don't need 100,000 or 1 million followers. Like you can create a 6-figure income, which is way above average in the Western world, with a few thousand followers if you do it right.
Yeah, thanks for that insight.
Sure, man.
That brings me to my next question. So you have helped countless creators make money online. What's the fastest way a yoga teacher can get from $0 to $10,000 a month?
Okay, That is a great question. I love it. So, biggest mistake that pretty much everybody makes is that they are just way too broad in their offering. So step number one, 100% is to specialize, become an expert. A surgeon makes way more money than a general doctor. Why? Because they solve a more specific problem. They get really good at solving that problem, and there are less of them, right? So not only are they better at helping people with this particular problem than a generalist, but also because there are less of them, there's less competition. They stand out much more. And anybody who wants help with the particular thing that the surgeon can help them with will go to them because they're an expert. To like transfer that example to yoga teachers, if you focus on mental health or anxiety or mobility or recovering from pregnancy or any kind of like specialized topic, you will get better at helping people with it because you focus only on this thing. There are way less people that do the same thing. Your content becomes more relevant to a particular audience, and that way you stand out. That way you can charge more. Honestly, if you do this, and if you create content around this specialty that you have chosen, and you build an audience, you keep communicating with that audience and asking them, hey, what do you guys need help with? What are your struggles? And you create content and solve those problems for them. It doesn't matter what you sell. You can sell a membership site, you can sell a school group, a paid community, you can sell online courses. You can use the Blueprint, which is the system that we use for our agency client, which is absolutely crushing it. As long as you're specialized and consistently create content around it and actually help people, ask them what they need, and then deliver that, you are on your way to make 5K, 10K, 20K. I mean, we work with teachers that are making 50K or more a month because they have specialized offerings. And that's basically the way to do it.
Awesome. What's the one strategy that every yoga teacher and fitness creator is underutilizing right now, needs to use right now?
Great one. So the most effective strategy that I see fitness creators, yoga teachers, and so on, actually pretty much creators in all spaces use right now is DM automation. So you have your Instagram account. It's optimized towards a specific topic. You create content around that topic. And then in your content, in the caption of your contents, every now and then you tell people, hey, if you want more help on this topic, comment blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to send you a freebie, right? A free course or a free video or some free advice or whatever. As soon as they comment, you send them a DM sending them a freebie, like a free video course, whatever it is. And then you either start a conversion, you close them into like a mentorship, or you close them into your digital course or something like that. And you can use DM automation. It works so well. You can use ManyChat. It's a tool, manychat.com, to automate the whole process. If you have a big audience, if you don't have a big audience, you can just do it manually. But having conversations via DM, creating connections and closing people via DM is by far the most effective strategy right now that I see people use in any niche. And particularly for yoga teachers, this works super well because you learn a lot about your audience and you just ask them about what they need. And then most of the time, they will actually ask you, hey, what can you offer me? And then you send them to your product. And you can use ManyChat to automate that or do it manually and learn a lot about your audience that way.
Okay. Why do you think it is so important? You mentioned earlier building rapport with your community. Why is that so important?
I think it's all about trust and authority. So to make anybody buy anything from you, and I mean, you can think about yourself too, right? Like when you make a purchasing decision, especially when you buy something expensive, you want to know that you can trust that person, that person is trustworthy in the sense that they will be able to actually help you. And you also want to learn from people that have authority in the space. So how do you create trust and authority? You create trust by online it would be creating content, sharing the knowledge that you have. I'm all for sharing everything you know. There are, no secrets that are behind a paywall or something. You talk about everything that you know in your short form and long form content, because that is how you build trust. How is anyone going to believe that you can help them if you're like, I'm going to help you, but you're going to have to give me $100, right? It's like, well, how would I know that you're actually able to help me? So that's what content is excellent for, right? To show that you're qualified, to show that you're the type of person that, your audience can relate to. Some people won't like you because of your vibe, your style, your whatever, and others will absolutely love you and gravitate towards you because of your personality, right? And because of your knowledge and expertise, your individual story, your suffering, your trauma, your everything that makes up who you are, right? Well, actually, you can express authority or show authority in many different ways. I show authority at Impact Academy, for example, by showing the people that we have worked with. We work with big name creators, and we've gotten them great results. So we show testimonials. I have a podcast, and one of the main reasons why I actually started the podcast was because I wanted to people to see that I am constantly working and in touch with and talking to people that are, successful in the online wellness and fitness and yoga space. So that when somebody looks at our YouTube or Instagram, they're like, okay, this guy, can't be a nobody because he's like, talking to all of these other people. And then, of course, testimonials, so showing your client testimonials. They don't have to be famous, but just showing that there are people that you've worked with that have accomplished the outcome, the result that you promise you help other people overcome. And so if you manage to build trust and authority, people are not only way more willing to buy from you, but they're also going to be willing to spend more. So they won't compare you to other people. They won't be like, oh, so this course is $200, but there's this other person that's also selling a course and it's only $100. Like, because there is no comparison. They don't buy from you because they wanna buy a course. They buy from you because they want to learn from you, and that's what the big difference is. And that's why personal branding is so crazy important, because that is your way of being unfuckwithable. Like nobody can compare or compete with you, because you are you, and you got to capitalize on that personal you're you being you. What was the question?
You actually answered another question that I wrote down. If you want, I will just read it out as the hook. If you want, you can elaborate on it or not. So, how important is personal branding? Why is personal branding so important as a yoga teacher online, and what are people missing out on if they don't do it?
Yeah, that is a really good question, because there are like a few different layers in here. The biggest struggle that the yoga teachers that we work with come to us with is, how can I stand out? Why would anybody listen to me compared to like all of these other gurus and experts out there? And the way that you stand out is by creating a personal brand. And you create a personal brand by specializing in a particular topic and just becoming an expert, an absolute beast in that particular area. That doesn't mean that you need to be this genius guru. It just means that you focus on this type of content, and over time just get really good at it. And people come to you for that particular problem that you're solving, right? If you're a mobility coach or mindfulness or mental health or flexibility, strength, handstands, calisthenics, whatever it is, right? You specialize. And your personal brand is the expression of you as a teacher and the problems that you help people with, right? So if you think, for example, about somebody like, there's this guy, I like to talk about him because it's just such a awesome brand. His YouTube is the knees over toes guy. So knees over toes guy, I didn't even freaking know what knees over toes is, right? But it's basically doing exercises in a way where your knees are over the toes, and this is good for your knee health. And there are so many people out there that have knee problems. So knees over toes guy, 2 million followers or subscribers on YouTube. And he started out only talking about this particular thing. So now he is so well known and famous that people with knee problems go to him because he's known to be able to fix people with knee problems that have maybe tried traditional methods or other things and they failed, right? That is a great example of a personal brand, or somebody who became an expert in a particular field and becomes the go-to person for solving a particular problem online. And what happens when you do that? What happens when you do that is that not only do you create a lot of traction for yourself with your content because you're solving this particular problem and you're known for this thing, and it goes at any level. Like, you don't have to have 2 million followers. You can have 3,000 followers and still be an expert in a particular field. And there's a million different fields you can choose. So you create this gravity because you're an expert in this field, so people come to you, and also because you are an expert and you are focusing on this particular problem, they will also be willing to spend more, because people don't come to the knees over toes guy because I don't even know if he sells courses, but let's assume he sells some kind of like digital product, right? So they don't come to him because, oh, I just need any like knee health program. They come to him because they're like, this guy is really good at fixing knee issues, and I want to buy his program. And then the thought of how much is the program becomes like secondary, because they're not going to compare this knee health program to another one. Like, they can probably go to like YouTube and get free content about it, or they can buy some kind of whatever program, but they want to buy from him, and then it doesn't matter how much it is. So they'll be willing to spend way more money on whatever it is that he's selling, because he has created his personal brand and he's become the expert in this particular field. And people don't want to work with random person, they want to work with him. And that's what a personal brand is all about.
I love it. So basically, this is also the way to get this fear of pricing yourself out of the way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get this all the time, especially yoga teachers, right? They cannot get adequately paid because there is so much competition. They're like teaching yoga classes for $20 or something like that. And there's also this huge misconception in the yoga world among yoga teachers that yoga should be free or yoga shouldn't be expensive and blah, blah, blah. So people are scared to charge high. And you're right. So the reason why they can't charge proper rates is because, first of all, they don't have a personal brand. There's no reason for them to work with you versus any other teacher because they all offer yoga for everybody. So it doesn't really matter where they go. And they don't specialize on a particular thing. So having a personal brand allows you to, I mean, it's not like you can charge whatever you want, but you can charge adequately. You can charge, actual proper rates for your teaching, your in-person classes, your online programs, whatever it is.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about outreach and getting some eyes on you. So you're a big advocate of Instagram Reels. What if Instagram Reels disappeared tomorrow? What platform would you pivot towards and why?
Can I go into other short form platforms?
Sure.
All right. So if Instagram Reels disappeared, where would I focus my attention on? YouTube Shorts. I think YouTube Shorts are crazy, crazy underrated. To be honest, I think they probably work better than Instagram Reels. And what's great about YouTube Shorts is that YouTube is a platform where you can offer long form content. It's the only platform where you can offer long form video content, or at least in a meaningful way where people actually go to consume it. And to build a business, what you want is like at the top, it's called the marketing funnel. At the top, this is where new people come in, where you get eyeballs and views. People see you for the first time. Instagram Reels are great for that because you can make Reels and you can see, okay, 80% of the viewers of my reels are people that are not following me yet. So the more non-followers you reach, the more kind of like top of the funnel new people, eyeballs you get into your brand and your business, right? And then from there, what you want to send them somewhere, you want to give them more depth. You want them to get to know you better, right? And on Instagram, you can do that through stories, and they can like consume more reels, I guess. But YouTube longs are the best way, in my opinion, to convey, your knowledge and your expertise, and to build trust and authority, to have long form content, and then have people like get to know you better at a deeper level. And then from there you go deeper and deeper. So they see you in a YouTube short, then they follow you on YouTube, subscribe, then they watch your long form content. From there, they go a level deeper and maybe click a link in your description, sign up for your free programs, get on your email list. And then from there, they are much more likely to become a buyer. So that's where I would go.
Amazing. So about the short form content, you talk about the modeling strategy a lot. Can you break it down and tell us why it's the secret sauce to growth?
Why the modeling strategy is a secret sauce to growth?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so modeling, for the longest time as an entrepreneur and a marketer building businesses, I was just reinventing the wheel all the time. Thinking that, I used to think that's how you do it, right? Like you want to build a business, you want to build an Instagram account, YouTube, whatever. Like you kind of like get some inspiration out there maybe, but then you kind of create your own version of it and just like keep on pushing content out or build this business from scratch, reinventing the wheel. And over the years, what I realized is that this is the worst way of doing anything. There are so many people that have accomplished the success that you desire, the Instagram audience that you desire, the views that you want, the business that you want, and they have walked the path. They have made all the mistakes, and they have also, had all the wins. So if you want to grow on Instagram or grow a business, following proven footsteps is going to make you infinitely more likely to succeed, because you basically just learn from people who have already done it. It's like if you were to learn martial arts, you're not going to try to figure out the moves yourself. You're going to go to a sensei or a master and have that person show you how it works. And the modeling strategy is basically the same thing. It just means you go out there, you look at the things that are working right now, and then you model them in your own way. It's not about copying, right? It's not like I look at an Instagram reel and then I copy it one-to-one. It's I look at what's actually working and I model it as closely as possible, change the topic, and make it mine, and then basically shortcut the trial and error phase of content creation. And the trial and error phase of content creation, it can be fucking years long, right? Creating content it's not easy. Creating an audience, building an audience, and creating successful content is not easy at all. And if you want to shortcut that process, the learning phase, I call it the valley of tears. Like this is the phase between I start and then I have like 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years of learning where I see little to no results. And then at some point, the curve picks up and I start to see results, followers, revenue, whatever it is. That shady period is the valley of tears. And you want that valley of tears to be as short as possible, because the longer this phase of learning and not seeing results is, the higher the likelihood of you giving up, right? So the longer the valley of tears, the more likely you are to give up or to switch vehicles, like switch to some other thing, and then you start over again, lose all the momentum, and start at the beginning of the valley of tears again, and then you need to move through it again. So modeling and learning and working with mentors and stuff like that is a way to shortcut that valley of tears, so that you can see success faster and just like learn from all of the mistakes that others have made.
What else, apart from getting a mentor, helps people to get through the initial slump of the valley of tears? What is a way to stay motivated and on track?
Yeah, so there are 2 things that will help you keep going when times are tough. The obvious one is results. The sooner you see results, the more motivated you're going to be to keep going. Like if your goal is to get a six pack, and you see results after a week, like, oh my God, I can see the outline. You say, okay, let's keep going. The shit's working, right? And then you keep going. And in business or content creation, it's the same thing. Views, right? Or revenue. Like the sooner you see results, the faster you will actually, or the more motivated you will be to continue pushing through the valley of tears. The problem is, that's the definition of the valley of tears. There are no fucking results, right? So you don't have results. And so there's one other thing that is actually even more powerful than seeing results, and that is belief. Belief makes people do like the craziest shit, right? Like people who are believers in something they will take their life because they believe so much in it. And that was like a crazy realization for me. Holy shit, like believe. First I was like, oh, the only thing, like the second best thing after results is belief, but it's not true. Belief is even stronger than result. The question is, how can you have belief when you are not seeing results? There are many different ways that you can influence your beliefs, obviously, but the best way that I have seen to create belief is to see other people accomplish what you want to accomplish in the way that you want to accomplish it. So you have chosen a path, right? So let's say, for example, you want to build an online business and sell digital courses, right? And you're a yoga teacher. And you have a buddy of yours or a friend is doing it, and you saw their entire journey of going from zero all the way to making 100K, right? That will create a lot of belief in you because there's a person that maybe grew up with you in the same village and they made it. So you're like, man, if that person can do it, I can do it for sure, right? So that's something that can create belief. So, joining communities of people that are likely like you that are doing it, but in general also just like surrounding yourself with people that have a positive mindset and a can-do mindset, and then you work together, you communicate with each other, you inspire each other, you motivate each other. Some of you see success that creates belief in others. Honestly, that's like one of the big things. I didn't see that coming when we started Impact Academy, but that is one of the huge elements of Impact Academy, our coaching program, because we have a community of like hundreds of yoga teachers, and we have a section in the community called Wins, and they post wins, and it's like so crazy motivating. And the coaching calls and communicating, talking to each other and lifting each other up. That is like, honestly, 90% of what we do is like create belief and make sure that people keep pushing. It's not about, like, there's no doubt that anyone can do it, but they need to have the belief. And having a mentor, of course, helps too. Somebody who has accomplished what you want to accomplish using the vehicle, the way that you've chosen, the path that you've chosen. That person just tells you what to do and you follow their footsteps.
That ties into the next question. You've worked with countless successful creators. What is the one thing that they all have in common?
One thing that I see that people who see success have in common is they're not afraid to put shit out there. Everybody has a fear, of publishing content or creating something and putting it out there for the world to see. But what I consistently see in creators and also entrepreneurs who are successful is that they are not perfectionistic and they don't procrastinate too much. They just put it out there even though it looks shit. Because the reality is that's the only thing that can actually that is going to get any results. I look at it in this circle. It all starts with your beliefs. Okay, I actually am worthy. I can do it. I can create something meaningful. Okay, and with that belief, you influence your thoughts. So if you believe you can do it, your thoughts are going to revolve around, okay, I can do it. What do I have to do? What are the actions that I have to take? Which is the next thing. From beliefs, you go into thoughts, and your thoughts turn into actions, and your actions turn into results. And in the beginning, the results will probably be shitty, but you need to have any kind of results so that you can feed back into your beliefs and your understanding to adjust and to adapt and to learn and to feed into the cycle of beliefs, thoughts, actions, results. Beliefs, thoughts, actions, results. So successful creators, successful entrepreneurs are not shy to put stuff out. They're not scared of the world judging them and seeing what they create and it maybe being shitty. If you go back to the first videos of a lot of the big people on YouTube, for example, the videos are absolute garbage, and there are like dozens or hundreds of them. Like, look at Mr. Beast, look at Movement by David. I love that guy. Like, the videos just suck, but they were not afraid to put it out there. And of all the judgment. And honestly, I get it. Like, I get that people are afraid of judgment because this is what our world is built around. But the reality is, the truth is, no one gives a fuck about you. Like, people only care about themselves. And I don't mean this in a cynical way. We all only look at ourselves. And in our head, we think everyone else, thinks we're so important in their life that they like really think hard about judging. And it's not like that, right? They look at it once like, oh, that's crappy, like whatever, and they move on. What actually helped me always was to think about that the very same people that I'm worried to be judged by live a life that I do not want to live even for $1 million. I don't want to be like them. So why do I care if they judge me? Yeah, just take action, do it. And this is the big differentiator that I see.
I think that is an amazing, Jesus Christ, that's really good advice. Jesus Christ. So what is your go-to strategy for somebody who wants to sell their first coaching or mentorship?
Okay, I just break down the exact strategy on how I would do it and how I see it work. Okay, step number 1, we're using Instagram for this because that's by far the best platform to do this. So set up your Instagram. I'm just assuming that you've specialized on a certain topic and chosen your, like, what you help people with. Laser focus your Instagram bio around what you help people with. So make it clear instantly for people in your profile what you help people with and why are you qualified to actually help them with that. And then your content will also reflect that as well. So post reels, carousel posts, all around the struggles and goals that people have around what you help them with. So your Instagram profile needs to be on point, okay? Reflect exactly what you help people with. You create content. In your content, you will ask people to DM you if they have questions, DM you if they want like maybe a little freebie, or leave a comment and so on. So you create engagement. And this happens even if you have, this works even if you have 300, 500 followers. There will be people that like your content, that comment, that send you DMs to ask more about it. It only happens if you're specialized. If you're just like this generic person that like tries to help everybody, it will not work. If you specialize, for example, you specialize on helping people with knee pain. You specialize helping people who are overweight to overcome this problem through Ayurvedic practices. Or you help people who have, like anxiety in the workplace, panic attacks, whatever, right? Focus on something. And then when people engage with your content, you start to talk to them via DMs. In the DMs, you find out, hey, so what are you currently, like, what are you struggling with? Like, tell me more. So you talk to them and find out about what is that they're struggling with, what have they tried to overcome this problem. And then in that conversation, you can then at some point say, hey, look, like I have a lot of experience with this. If you want, we can get on a call and, I can see if maybe I can help you. And then you get on a call with them and say, hey, I have a mentoring program. It's one coaching call per week, one-on-one session per week. You also get access to my Messenger or DM, WhatsApp, whatever you use. And you sell them a 3 months coaching package. So it really depends on where you're from, how much you can charge for that. And it depends on the strength of your personal brand, right? The more authority you have, if you have 5,000 followers and you've been doing this for a while, then you can charge more than if you're only starting out, right? And then you close people into your mentoring program. And that's by far the best way that I can see. I can add a little bonus. If you do this, you look at the highest performing content that you've created on Instagram. So the content that has given you the most engagement, the most comments, and the most shares, for example. You need to actually ask people to comment in your description, right? So write something in the description about like a little bit more context, and then, hey, if you want my help, leave a comment or message me or something. Choose the piece of content that has been doing the best, right? And you will only know that if you've done this for a couple of months. And then you boost this content to your dream audience. So you can boost it, for example, let's say you're from I don't know, Spain, and your content is in Spanish, you boost it to, to Spain, and automatically Instagram will choose the audience that is most like the people that follow you. And I've seen people spend $1,000 a month on boosting their posts like this and making $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 back in one-on-one coaching.
What is the best way to set up an ad on Instagram if you want to sell your course to people?
If you have no idea about how to run Instagram or Meta ads, I highly advise against you're boosting posts, especially if you have a low ticket offer. So low ticket will be something like $100, $200, $300, because it's going to be very difficult to make that profitable. You're just going to waste money. If you have a coaching offer that is validated, where you can close people via DMs, and they're interested, and you can actually close them at 1K, 2K, 5K or something, then boosting posts is you can actually do that. And it's pretty easy. You basically just use the automatic targeting that Instagram gives you. So you will just boost your post for profile views to basically people that are like your audience, and you can just select that in Instagram interface. And then you basically create engagement and then get into talking to people via DM and then close them into your higher ticket offer, probably through a sales call. So you'll just first find out, okay, what do you need help with? What are your struggles? Hey, let's get on a call. Maybe I can help you. And then close into a higher ticket offer. But definitely don't do that for low ticket offers that are only $100, $200, $300.
Okay, awesome. What is one thing that you used to believe about online businesses that you now know is complete bullshit?
What I used to believe, and honestly, I think everybody thinks that, is that the people with the biggest audiences, the most followers and subscribers make the most money. And that's just not true. And the reason is that subscriber count and the reason is that follower count just doesn't matter anymore. The thing that really determines how much money you make is how many contacts you've collected, how many email addresses you have, or if you use Instagram DMs, how many people you have in your DM folder. So in our agency, Impact Agency, the people that make the most money are not the people with the most followers. There could be someone that has 500,000 followers and they're making 100K with an email campaign. And then there's another one who has maybe 50,000 followers and they make 150K. Why? Because the person with 50,000 followers actually has an email list, and they may have an email list of 10,000 people, and an email list of 10,000 people is going to be more valuable than 500,000 followers on Instagram. Most people that have big audiences built those audiences 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they're just not that engaged anymore. And I mean, this is not a secret. Follower count just doesn't matter anymore. So just because you have followers doesn't mean that you can actually make people click on your story to promote an offer. So having email addresses is the single most determining factor of whether you're going to be successful. And the biggest misconception is that people think a big audience equals a lot of revenue, which is totally not true.
What is the secret so that creating content never feels like a chore?
I think it all comes down to, and this sounds so lame, authenticity. If you talk about stuff that you have no idea about or that you don't care about, then content creation is going to be an absolute nightmare. I've been there. When I started creating YouTube videos, I hated it. But I did what I thought was necessary because I thought this is what everybody's doing, so I have to create videos like that. And it took me at least a year to realize, okay, that's not true. And then it took me another year to actually learn what is my authentic way of, creating content and what are the topics that I really care about and that I can actually bring the value to the table with. So the secret to content creation in the long run, actually, to be able to actually stick to it, is to just find the topics that are interesting to you, that are relevant to you, that you enjoy talking about. And equally important is finding your way of creating content, because everybody makes content differently, right? And just because your feed is full of people that are in your face, hey, this is blah, 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 that doesn't mean that you have to make content like that. That was a realization that I had. And I'm still exploring and experimenting and finding the way. I like this format a lot. I'm not scripting it. I'm not planning it. And you ask me a question and I just answer it. I enjoy that. So find the way that works best for you. And the way that you can do that is you just need to browse Instagram, find videos where you think like, you know what, I like that style, this resonates, like maybe I can create content like this too, and then go play around, explore, and see if it works for you. If not, try something else, and if it does, it's going to make it way easier for you to actually stick with content creation. Because if you hate the topic that you talk about and you have no fucking idea what you're talking about, and you don't like the actual process of creating because maybe, you know, you just don't like talking in the way that you're talking in, or recording in the way that you're recording in, you're never going to make it for sure.
That's actually really good advice. Okay. Can you share a specific example of a client who went from struggling to striving using your method?
No.
We have no clients.
Well, the thing is, we have a lot of examples, and they're all on different levels. So we have people that, you know, already had hundreds of thousands of followers, and they just couldn't figure out how to fucking make money with it, right? So, I mean, Daniel Rama was our first ever client at Impact Agency, and he had like 200,000 followers back then. This is several years ago, and we reached out to him, and he, you know, gave us a shot, trusted us to do something, and we made him like, I don't know, like $30,000-$40,000 in like a few days. And it was for him, I don't know, Rama, like if you agree, but I think it had a huge impact on his life, because we were able to help him figure out how to actually make use of the audience that he created in an authentic way. And then there are others, like I can think of Katrin, for example. She's one of our members at Impact Academy. Like, she didn't have an audience, but she knew exactly what she can help people with because she'd done it online. So she helps moms. So she does prenatal yoga and also postnatal recovery stuff. And she didn't have an audience. She had a course, but it never really sold, and she didn't know how to package it in a way that it would sell. And then we worked with her. She joined the program, and when she did her first launch, it was actually, this one was crazy, because she had I think 200 email addresses that she'd collected through the thing we teach people is called the Blueprint. It's a system that we teach. So she collected 200 email addresses through Blueprint. She used the modeling strategy, which is like our way of like growing your audience. I think she has less than 2,000 followers. I think like 1,500 or something. She did a sales campaign within 48 hours, $3.2 thousand with 200 email addresses that she collected. And I remember she sent me a screenshot. She's like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe it. This actually works, you know? Or Janelle, like I have a video of her because I interviewed her after her first campaign. She was like crying on the call. She's like I was crying. My husband was crying because he was like working really hard for several months. And, you know, you don't know until you know, right? Like, you can buy into a program, enjoy an Impact Academy, or join our agency and believe what we say. But it's a big difference between like taking that leap of faith and then actually seeing the cash coming into your bank account. I didn't know this before we started this program, but these stories, like, they almost make me like tear up. Like, right now I'm like, it's crazy. It's bizarre, you know, because I know a lot of them are really struggling. And I can relate, because I was dead fucking broke for years when I started my business. And I didn't have anyone, you know, I didn't have anyone who I could talk to. And it's such a lonely place to be in, to start a business and try to make a living. And ironically, it's even more lonely, I feel like, when you have a family, because you feel like they put their trust in you and you're responsible for them. And every decision that you make and every mistake that you made, they're gonna like pay for it. That's what fuels me.
What's one viral trend that you see on social media you think will be dead in a year?
You know, I was like thinking about this for a second, but I think like it's the definition of a trend. They will be dead a year from now. And I think it's very tempting to jump on the trends and like create something that you think goes viral, and, you know, and I get it. It's okay to get like a little bit of a like bump in views here and there. But almost all of the trends that you jump on, first of all, by the time you jump on them, it's already too freaking late. And then second of all, they don't usually get you high quality followers. They're just hacks to get more views. I think it's, in my experience, it's just much more important to find your authentic way of creating content and just doing that, and not having these crazy growth spikes or like spikes in views that actually don't translate into the type of followers that you want. Like posting thirst traps, that's actually an evergreen. That's not a trend. People just do that because it gets views. But I can tell you guys, it doesn't work. You're not going to get customers from that. On the contrary, serious customers are going to be turned off by it, right? People that actually want to learn from you, and you post thirst traps, it's like you just don't get the kind of like followers that you want. So I think trying a trend here and there is nice. To experiment in general with content creation is good, but just know that usually they're not going to get you actual followers that are going to be valuable for you.
What's the wildest DM you've ever received from a creator who wanted your help?
Oh my God, I have one. Jerome, you know. I actually almost deleted it because I thought it was spam. I just got a DM, this is about a year ago, from a random dude who said like, sir, I need your help. And I thought it's some, I don't know, like rando that is like, has no idea who I even am. And I was about to delete the message. And I was like, you know what? Like, let's just look at the profile. And it was Jerome, who was like, I don't know, I think he meant it as a, like, it was a serious question, but it was phrased in a joking way. And now that I know him, I get it, right? Like, now we joke around all the time. And I joke about that particular part too. Yeah, so he just said this like, sir, I need your help, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked at his profile and he's like this super legit, super advanced yoga teacher and mantra chanting legend. Buy his course, Om Jerome, on Instagram. Yeah, it wasn't really wild, but it was just so random. And then out of that came a conversation, and then he decided to join the program. And yeah, and now he's killing it. So there we go. Sometimes random messages can really turn into something. I mean, I get like really long messages sometimes, and audio messages and videos, selfie videos. Actually, yesterday I got a selfie video from somebody who is I don't know where she was, but she had this amazing backdrop of like a river and trees, and she's just like recording this like super long video talking about what she's working on and struggling with and stuff. I kind of enjoy that because you get to, it's different DMing somebody compared to somebody sending you a selfie video and explaining. I'm like, oh my God, like that's so nice. You see the person in their environment talking, and I love that shit. It was really cool.
In before you get 1,000 video messages in your inbox tomorrow.
Send me your video messages, please. Yeah.
If you had to start your business from scratch today, what would be your first move?
The exact same business. So I already know my target audience. I know my product and everything. So
that would probably be your first move then, right?
Figuring that out. Yeah. Well, yeah, I would figure out first, who am I helping? What am I helping them with? And how am I helping them? In our case, Impact Academy, we help health and wellness creators make money doing what they love. How do we do that? We have an agency for like people who have a large audience already, and then we have our coaching program, which is for basically anyone who has the ambition to make it a business. It's all about creating a personal brand. It's all about creating content in your own authentic way. I'm just assuming that I would already have the expertise to actually help people, right? So I would just talk about that on Instagram, on YouTube, wherever I can, create content, talk to a narrow audience. So for example, in our case, we started out with yoga teachers because this was the background that we came from with doyou.com and our agency and everything. And then make laser focused content for them. Don't focus on getting a shit ton of views and getting a shit ton of followers, but focus on making the content extremely relevant to this particular audience. And then I would probably start with a mentoring offer. So one-on-one mentoring, because then I don't have to shoot any content for programs or build a platform or anything like that. And then from there, get more and more mentoring clients, and then turn that into some kind of more structured, guided program From there, I would probably build a software. That's what we're doing with Impact Studio, to generate recurring income and also provide just like a better solution, make it more scalable. And then from there, I would go into different niches. So from yoga teachers, next up, I would add calisthenics coaches, fitness coaches, Pilates teachers, physiotherapists. I'm revealing our strategy here right now, but yeah, something like that.
I can blur that part. I can censor it. Buy our course to get the full secret. Okay. What do you think is the real reason so many yoga businesses fail online?
I think especially yoga teachers who start businesses, be it, running retreats, a studio, an online studio, whatever it is, they come up with a business idea first, like the product, the offer that they sell. And they don't realize that actually you need to have an audience, you need to have marketing, you need to have people to actually see what it is that you offer. And not only that, you also need people to actually trust you and believe that you can actually help them. So just getting in front of people isn't enough. You need to actually make people believe and make people realize and understand that you are an expert at what you do. And whatever outcome it is that they want to accomplish, you are the one that can help them do that. And there are other things too. Like, for example, a lot of businesses and yoga teachers who create businesses, they don't realize that at the end of the day, business is about solving problems. It's not about like, hey, I'm a yoga teacher. It's about people that need help with something. And if you don't understand what they need help with, you're not going to be able to actually build a business, because there are hundreds and thousands of other businesses out there that solve particular problems, that are able to create much more gravity around themselves, around those businesses. And they're the ones who get the customers and the views and the followers. So, you need to understand that it's all about solving problems, and to get people to actually see your business and find you. Content creation is a great thing to do, but it needs to be around specific topics and solving particular problems. And once you do that and you just keep going for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, for sure your business is going to succeed. Because most people don't do that, and that's why they fail.
They give up too early.
They don't solve actual problems. They don't focus on the customer, and they don't focus on their audience. They focus on the service. They focus on the product. And then they try to make it better. But the reality is, it's not about the product in the beginning. I mean, it is, of course, you want to make sure that you deliver something great. But if there's nobody out there that actually believes that you can help them, then they're not going to buy. So I think that's the realization that almost anybody who opens a yoga studio or starts a yoga app or a yoga YouTube channel or any type of yoga or any type of business, let's say in the yoga world, that they realize once they start and launch is like, oh shit, how am I actually going to make people see me? And that is by creating a brand, a personal brand. I think personal brands are the most powerful thing, because this is what people resonate with. And to make sure that, that people get to know you as an expert that can actually solve problems for them. That's how you do it, in my experience.
All right, guys, that is it. I hope you had fun with the episode. Check out Andy and his work. What he does is amazing. If you're curious about Impact Academy, check out the first link in the description to get a free training and learn what this is all about. Wish you all the best luck on your way. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next episode. Till then.